So how does it work in your company in terms of decision making then? Okay, okay. How many people are typically involved in a decision like this? The Book of Questions approach. Hi guys, my name is Deepak Shukla, founder at Pearl Lemon Sales. We're a sales training and development agency based in the UK as well as the USA and serving clients worldwide. And here today, in day number 107 of 119 days of cold calling training, we're here to talk about the Book of Questions approach. But before we get into it, feel free to click the link in the description below to get access to 17 additional strategies that are not shared in this training. So look, fundamentally, I made references to this before with the internal fact finding approach, but what I want you to awaken to is questions. So for example, you'll be given potentially a set of questions that your client or your line manager, your team want you to answer or want you to ask. But then there's also general questions that even those guys won't think of that you can ask, okay? And they were to a degree covered in the last video, but so please refer back to the internal fact finding approach, but you can build upon this, okay? Spend 20 hard minutes brainstorming, and we'll have a 2-minute brainstorming session together now, but thinking about all of the questions that you could potentially ask that would be relevant to fundamentally the industry that you're calling into or otherwise. So I'm going to have a go now with the Book of Questions approach and see what questions I come up with, okay? So give me 2 minutes while I just start to think about it. So is X a struggle in your industry, in your industry in general? Ignore the spelling errors. How many people are involved in a decision like this? At what time of year do budgets get spent? What budget would I be competing with in your company? What's the company view on working with vendors, with external vendors? Have you worked on this with an before? What's been the most typical disappointment with agencies you worked with in the past? So guys, I'm going to stop there, but hopefully you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I came up with 7 questions in the minute and a half maybe that I spent trying to brainstorm a book of questions for the questions that I could take into any call that I have. So it's really just worth thinking about building your cheat sheet, your bucket list of questions, because they're just going to be such powerful things that you can take into ultimately meetings that you have and whatever else that you report back on internally. Information truly is power, especially when this information is only accessible through asking people at those organizations. And the bigger list of questions that you do have, the more powerful it will be when you get onto the phone with a chatty Sally and she's happy for 15 minutes to riff basically how some of these things happen, how decisions are made, etc., etc. So what I'd absolutely recommend is build your own book of questions and see where it gets you. I can't advocate how I just can't advocate enough that you should do this, that people don't do this. I don't know why they don't do this, because once you get a chatty Sally on the phone, then you're going to learn so much, and you will statistically get a chatty Sally thinking about people that just answer the phone. 1 in every 5 conversations, there will be a chatty Sally, and you'll learn and become quite quickly an industry expert if you just keep asking the chatty Sallys questions from your book. Now, you're not going to get through every question. Of course you're not, okay? So if you end up building a list of, let's say, 20 questions, you might only get through 3, but then you will have a different 3 with the next chatty Sally, and then over time you might get all 30 in, but regardless, the quality of information that will come back from those calls is going to be absolutely invaluable. So for those reasons, having a book of questions to work with makes a ton of sense. So there you have it, guys, the book of questions approach.
Remember, we've got 17 gated strategies just waiting for you. All you need to do is bing, subscribe, as well as click the link in the description below to get access to those 17. Get some.